Hey, what's up, guys? My name is Brandon. I am from Houston, Texas, and I have the opportunity to come and talk to you guys about something that has been heavy upon my heart. It's something that I know we all struggle with. Not something that we just dealt with in our past, but it's something that we will also deal with now and going on into our future. And that thing is the power of fear. See, a lot of times we look at this phrase and we look at it in a negative way. But I kind of want to switch it up and give you more of a positive perspective on the phrase. And maybe you're sitting there and you're like, I mean, how the heck can I look at fear in a positive way? There's no part of fear that brings anything positive into my life, and I mean, it's true. But I just personally believe that fear isn't something that breaks you, but fear is something that makes you. Every situation that you go through, every trial, every hard time, every bad situation that you're in is not meant to be feared. It's not meant to stay away from. Those are the moments where you become who you are supposed to be. Everybody has a destiny. Everybody has a job that they're supposed to execute in this world. And in order for you to execute that job, you have to get stretched. You have to get beaten. You have to get thrown down. You got to get tossed around a little bit. Because sometimes life is not going to give you what you want. But in order for you to be great, you have to endure some pain as well. Because in order for us to gain anything in this world, we must remember that pain comes first. It's just as simple as working out. When you go to the gym, you want to get the body that you want, and you want to get the muscles, the abs, you want the whole package. But in order for you to get to that point, you have to endure the process. And in that process, you're going to endure pain. How many times have you sat down in your life and you're just caught in situations and you're sitting there and you're like, I can't physically do this. I'm done. You tap out, you single yourself out, and you're just like, I cannot do this. I'm done. You know, this isn't for me. You know, I can't do this anymore. And a lot of times we get put in those situations, and instead of asking for help like we normally do, we take it upon ourselves, even though we know that we can't do it. I remember reading a statistic. It was crazy. I can't remember the exact numbers, but it was a very high percentage of people who are diagnosed with diseases get those diseases because they believe and they've taught themselves and told themselves in their mind that they have it, that disease. And that blew me away, because I honestly didn't pay attention to how powerful the mind is. And sometimes I feel like we get put in these situations and in these hard times when we forget how powerful the mind is and we go off of emotions. And sometimes we need to come to the conclusion and realize that we have a choice whether or not we're going to fear something or not. And most fears are stemmed and streamed all the way back to the fear of death. You know, you have your friends who are scared of spiders, who are scared of clowns, who are scared of heights, who are scared of closed spaces. You know, these are all things that they fear because they think that it's going to all lead to them dying. It's all going to lead to death in the end. So all of these things are streamed to death. Whether you know it or not, half the time we are put in situations that we don't even know that we're scared. And we try to cover it up with anger. And we're saying, no, I'm not scared, I'm just angry, you know. I'm just ready, I'm ready to get out of here. I remember looking at Coach Carter, and one of my favorite parts of the movie is where the character Timo Cruz, he stands up and he looks at Coach Carter and he starts to quote the famous poem, and he says, our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate, but that we are powerful beyond measure. And that really spoke to me, because half the time we're not scared of not being able to do something. We're scared that we're going to fail at doing something. Our biggest fear is not that we're not good enough. It's really the fact that we're scared that we're not going to be able to complete it and that we're going to fail. We all want the backup plan. We all want something to fall back on, just in case. But that's living in fear. Living a life of a backup plan is living a life of doubt, which is a form of fear. And I kind of want to give you guys a visual illustration of that. So just watch the screen, and I'll see you guys in a couple minutes.
He says the leap to freedom is not about strength.
My body makes the jump.
Survival is the spirit, the soul.
My soul is as ready to escape as my body.
Fear is why you fail.
No, I'm not afraid. I'm angry.
You do not fear death. You think this makes you strong. It makes you weak.
Why?
How can you move faster than possible? Fight longer than possible? Without the most powerful impulse of the spirit. The fear of death.
I do fear death. I fear dying in here. While my city burns. There's no one there to save it.
Then make the climb. As the child is. Without the rope. Then fear will find you again.
So you guys just watched the scene from one of my favorite movies by one of my favorite directors, Christopher Nolan, and The Dark Knight Rises. In this scene you have Bruce Wayne, who has been thrown into this cave. When he was thrown into the cave, his body was broken. He wasn't physically able to do anything. So his first mindset was to build his body back to its ability so he can get out. To build his body back to where it was before so he can get out and he can go save Gotham City from Bane and everything that he had planned for the city. But what he really didn't realize is that his mindset wasn't right. And as the old guy who was in there was talking to him and told him that you have the fear of death and that makes you weak. And as he sat there, he said, I'm not scared of dying. I'm just scared of dying in here. How many times have we sat in these situations and we're just scared of dying in that one specific situation, that one moment? We're scared of it being the end. Because I know that's what I felt every single day when I went through my season of anxiety and my whole season of being scared of dying. It was all because of that one moment. I never dealt with that until that one moment. And in that moment where he sat in that cave and he just continued to fail, he continued to fail over and over and over and over again, he was reminded of his weakness that was keeping him from freedom. It wasn't that his body wasn't strong enough, it's the fact that his mind wasn't strong enough. Every time he made the climb, he would wrap himself in a rope and he would start to climb. But while he was climbing, in his mind, he knew that if he fell, there was something there to catch him. So in his mind, he already accepted defeat and he didn't even know it. So whenever he was talking to this guy, the guy told him, just make the climb. And as Bruce Wayne laughed, he just laughed it off and he's like, how? And he told him to do it just like the child did, without the rope. Because he knew that once he took the rope off, there was only one option: to get out. He knew that if he fell, it was over. He no longer gave himself an option. He gave himself a goal. And that's what we need to do. We sit in these hard times and we look for escape routes. We look for backup plans. We settle for what the situation in the moment is, and we already accept defeat. Take the rope off. Give yourself one option. Because once you give yourself that one option, you will be surprised at what your mind will motivate your body to do. I want to encourage you guys that as you go through life, as you go through hard times, know that it's for the better. It's to make you into who you were supposed to be and for you to fulfill the job that you were called to do. Remember, pain comes before gain. And that in order for you to succeed in life, you have to go through the struggle. Everybody knows that the struggle is real. We all know that. We can come to the conclusion that the struggle is really real. But know that in those situations, your mind becomes more powerful than you will ever even imagine. Your mind will take you places that your body can't. As kids, we had our imagination. And as we get older, we tend to lose that imagination. We tend to forget how to dream. We tend to forget how powerful we are and how much of a passion that burns inside of us and how strongly it burns, and we forget that. But once you get put in those moments where those are challenged, remind yourself of those moments where you used to sit down as a kid and you just used to imagine a totally different world than the one that you were living in. No longer live life without taking risk. Because once you get comfortable, I mean, that's the moment where you really need to figure out what's the issue. Live life with no regrets. Because the power of fear is to make you better, not to make you weaker. The power of fear has been strategically placed in our lives to form us and to mold us into who we are supposed to be. Be you. Because nobody else can do it. Thank you. I hope you really enjoyed this video. I thank you for the opportunity, and I thank you for listening. It was an honor, it was a privilege, and I appreciate all you guys. So again, my name is Brandon, and y'all have a great week. See you later.